Before I share this story with you, I need to give you some background information. I'm a former Army Ranger with extensive outdoors experience. I have fought in several different areas of the world and found myself in some hairy situations. I identify with the outdoors, and up until this encounter I could honestly say I never had any fear of an animal in the woods. Respect, yes. But no fear at all. It was the summer of 2012, I had just finished a long divorce mediation and wanted to get away from people. My father wanted to catch a movie the same evening, so I decided to go fishing close to the city. I had a secret fishing spot in New Orleans East that was always good to me. It was a bit out of the way, but I liked this spot. It was peaceful. I left my house at 5 a.m., headed across town, and arrived at the Little Woods exit about 30 minutes later. The area I was going to fish was on the outskirts of Bayou Sauvage Wildlife Refuge. It's an area of protected woodland and marsh that is on the outskirts of the city. To get to my fishing spot I had to drive on top of the levee that protected the city from storm surge. After a 10-minute drive I reached the barricade used to deter people from driving any further into the area. Stepping out of my car, it was 5:45 a.m. I grabbed my small cooler, and placed my .45 handgun into the tackle box along with my car keys. It was a bit foggy as I walked along the levee, and it reminded me of something out a horror movie, but I thought nothing of it. The sun would be over the horizon soon and would burn the fog away quickly. My fishing spot was a solid 2-mile walk from where I parked. As the sun came out I got excited. The last visit to this place I caught a cooler full of fish. A description of this area is needed in order for my story to make sense. The levee is elevated almost 11 feet above the surrounding ground level. When standing on the levee, to the left at the base of the levee is a train track. Beyond that track is Lake Pontchartrain. To the right of the levee is Bayou Sauvage, a forested wetland area. Finally reaching the spot, I descended down the levee towards the lake. 35 minutes passed before I got my first bite. Standing on the rocks with my rod high in the air, I noticed the train coming. Being trapped between the water and the train was not ideal, so I quickly reeled the fish in and got him into the cooler. The train was still a ways off when I decided to climb up the levee. Reaching the top instantly, I had felt an eerie feeling. Scanning the area I didn't see anything, but as I turned to see how far away the train was I noticed movement at my 2 o'clock. Something was in the water of the bayou. I looked closer. It was a head sticking out of the water. My initial thought was, what is a black bear doing in the bayou? Then I started noticing things. The head was huge with pointed ears that looked like 2 black triangles, and the snout was long and wide. I watched, thinking, man, this is a big bear, until I saw a shoulder come out of the water, and then came a long arm with claws. I verbally said, holy shit. My body was frozen and my mind was telling me, bear. It looked at me. Its eyes reflected a yellowish color from in the shade of the trees. At that point my mind and body agreed it's time to get the hell out of here. I watched as it changed directions, coming towards me through the water. Its head and shoulders began to elevate out the water and I heard a growl. This growl was like nothing I have ever heard or felt before. I felt the vibration in my bones. As a ranger I know what fear is, and this was not regular fear. This was primal fear. I turned and ran down the levee towards the train tracks, jumping across totally unconcerned about the fact that the train was bearing down on me. I needed to put something between me and this thing. I went straight to my tackle box, grabbed my weapon, put my back to the lake, and looked up the levee. As I chambered around, the train horn began to blow. The conductor was looking in my direction, his eyes as big as dinner plates. As he passed he pointed to his left, which was the other side of the levee. Instinctively I began to run alongside the train. My adrenaline kicked in as I ran at a steady pace. The horn blew again, this time for 10 seconds. What was he telling me? I decided that trying to jump this cargo train was too dangerous in this situation. Falling would leave me injured with this thing on my ass. I ran for what seemed like 12 minutes full speed and felt as if I would make it out of this situation. Then I patted my pants legs looking for the car keys. Oh fuck, I left the keys in the tackle box. I truly had no way of knowing how far I had ran as the train obscured my view of the top of the levee. I could not see my car, nor could I see anything else. I looked back and there were only about 30 cars left before the train passed me and I was alone. Although there was no other person around, the train made me feel safe. Only 20 cars left. I need to stop and catch my breath. 10 cars. I'm thinking about my dad and how we were supposed to go to the movies. I should have been nicer to him yesterday. 1 car left. I said to myself, it's time to go dark. This was a trigger that I used in the Army Rangers to mentally prepare myself for war. Go dark. Go dark. I told myself again. I leveled my weapon and started up the levee. As I got to the top, nothing. But I still had that eerie feeling. I glanced to my right and my car was about 50 yards away. I sprinted to my car. As I approached the car, I skid to the ground trying to stop. I can't explain the feeling, but my body knew I was in danger. When I made it to my feet and looked back, there it was. Standing at the edge of the tree line, nose in the air, sniffing. This thing was huge, so huge that I could see its head clearly for 200 yards away. I could see the left profile of it. Its arms were long with what looked like hands or claws. The chest was muscular and tapered down to a small waist. It looked fast and strong. It sniffed in my direction, looking at me and showing its teeth. At this point, I used my weapon to break my driver's door window and jumped in the car, pulling my spare key out the glove box. When I looked up, it was on all fours and moving towards me. I cranked the car and threw it into reverse. I had to focus and drive backwards down the elevated roadway, moving at above 40 miles per hour, for what seemed like forever. Looking forward was not an option. One wrong move and I would have been stuck in the lake or the bayou. When I hit the wide incline that served as an entrance to the levee road, I braked and turned hard, spinning my car, and drove out. Driving away, I could see it standing there at the base of the levee watching me. Reaching the nearest gas station, I had a meltdown, crying and laughing at the same time. I didn't know what to do. Realizing that what I saw was a monster and they do exist has changed the way I see the wilderness forever. Till this day, I have never shared this with anyone. There are houses within 5 miles of that location. I wonder if the people know what lives in their backyards. Do you want more stories? We have more for your listening pleasure. Feel free to comment, and please subscribe to the channel to show your support.